Welcome to the Rubio Method. Venture into the unfiltered world of Chris Rubio. The Rubio Method delivers an unapologetically edgy take on the often overlooked world of men's mental health. Rubio, a master communicator, wields a potent knack for no BS enlightenment. Step into this no-nonsense arena, where men are challenged to evolve and confront the man staring back at them from the mirror.
Focus up. I'm talking to you, Blaze, out in the Boise area. Enough's enough. It's time to start saying the word Rubio. Welcome. My name is Chris Rubio, host of the Rubio Method. This is episode 92. 92. Holy hell. We are live right now on X, YouTube, I think Rumble, Jenna, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Thank you for everyone that's commenting in. I think Nasty just commented in. I need to move my screen here. I didn't see that. Jenna, can you put that up again for me? Oh, let's go, Nasty. Yeah, the Ride with Chevy and Nasty's coming on tonight at 9:30 p.m. Pacific time. I'm sure they'll be talking about the Super Bowl, as will I. So what else am I going to be talking about? Well, under Everything Happens for a Reason, we are definitely going to talk about everything about the Super Bowl, from the goods, the bads, the highs, the lows, everything. I'll probably get in trouble for half the things I say. Don't really care. There are winners and losers in life. Bringing back the great Nick Umble. I'm going to ask him, does he still think his vote is going in the right direction? And I want him to give me a little bit more insight on what's going on with the government right now. Then we're going to move to Accept and Embrace. And we're going to talk about big balls and hairy balls. Yes, you heard that right. Big balls and hairy balls. Don't worry, you'll understand when we get there. Then we're going to go to Working Hard is Not Enough. And as they said in the movie Frozen, some people need to let it go. And I'm not singing. Maybe Jenna can sing. And then for Confidence is the Key, I'm going to give some tips on Valentine's Day and what it means to both sexes. As I said, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And Jenna says, yes, we are on Rumble. So episode 92, we're ready to roll. If you have any email questions, you can email Rubio at therubiomethod.com. Gru says, hey, Rubio. I say, hey, Gru. All right, here we go. Everything happens for a reason. Super Bowl Sunday, number one, put it on Saturday. If you don't want to put it on Saturday, at least make Monday a national holiday, especially for, West Coast, it came on at about 3:30 p.m. Where Umble is on the East Coast, it came on at, I believe he's East Coast time, so it's 6:30. By the time it's over, you're looking at 10:30, 11 kids have got to go to school. I just even saw, Tony on Facebook was talking about, this was one of his first times watching on the East Coast, and it's just not acceptable. And he's going to be on Decades at 6:30 p.m. Pacific as well. Eagles won. A lot of people were pulling for the Eagles. I heard the crowd was about 65 to 70% Eagles throughout the entire week in New Orleans, which I heard was a great venue. I would say most people were pulling for the Eagles. Most, not everybody, but most were, because they're tired of hearing about the Kansas City Chiefs, Taylor Swift, Kelsey Mahomes. They're just on every single commercial right now, so they're getting completely saturated. I was pulling for both, basically both. I know the Eagles long snapper, Rick Lovato, I taught him. Those were not 2 penalties on him, but it gave some good credibility to the position. And I also know Jaden Hicks on the Kansas City Chiefs, a friend of my middle son. He's a very good kid, hell of a player, obviously. El Trumpo was the first president in attendance, which I thought was very odd. I can't believe this hasn't happened before. So he was the first sitting president to ever attend the Super Bowl. And I would say this Super Bowl, Umble and I were talking about a little bit before, I can't tell if the Chiefs were that bad and just got exposed, as Umble said, or the Eagles were that good. But if you watch this play right now, Jenna's going to pull up a video. Watch the guy on the left come in, and this pretty much sums up the entire game. Watch the Eagles player on the left come in and just destroy a block. Go ahead, Jenna. I mean, he just stonewalls that guy. And if you can't see it, basically a guard's pulling, and the left end on the Philadelphia just comes, and it looks like a damn Toyota Camry hitting a bike. I mean, he just destroys them. And it looked like they were just smacking them around the entire time. Eagles fans are thugs. I've heard that a lot, especially from Charles Jr. I will say AC and Jimmy Mack are the only Eagles fans I personally know, and they're not thugs. But from what I'm seeing on videos and pictures, they don't get a very good rap. I mean, I know they've booed Santa in the past and all that. Okay, so now here's where I'm going to get yelled at a couple times. This was the first game in like 4 years where NFL no longer had "End Racism" in the end zone, spray painted, which I always thought was stupid. I think I may have talked about it on this show or the Rundown with Rubio. And I even talked with my neighbor and said, who, if I'm a racist, say I just hate every Mexican and Asian that I see, but then I see "End Racism" in the end zone. Do you think I'm going to stop and say, you know what? They're right. I'm gonna stop being racist. No, it's stupid. I don't understand why they would do this. And then I saw some people saying, "Oh, with the new President Trump, they end up racism. They took it off because he's so racist." Oh my God, you're really reaching on that one. That's going to go into our working hard is not enough section. So that one, I don't understand the whole point of it. Like that's the marketing campaign and racism in the end zone. I guarantee you didn't switch not one human being's mind on that. Not one human being said, "You know what? I'm going to stop hating whites and blacks. I'm going to end racism now that's in the end zone." Okay. It's just what doesn't want to understand that. All right. So there, number one, before the movie, excuse me, the game, this is another part that's going to get me yelled at. They had the Black National Anthem, which I don't understand because if you're going to separate blacks, then why not separate Asians? Why not separate Mexicans? Why not separate Indians? Why not separate the other Indians? Why not separate Canadians? Well, I guess you can't separate Canadians. But I don't understand. Like, why does one get another national anthem, and why would you even play it? To me, that is just causing divide. Like you're saying that everything's equal, but then you're saying, oh, by the way, we need to play this national anthem as well. I don't get that. I need someone to explain to me because it doesn't make sense to me at all. Why would you even have it? Okay, you can have it and do it at, I guess, HBCUs, historically black college unions, but I mean, that's a whole separate issue that we can break into later. I don't understand that at all, so I need someone to explain that to me. And then the halftime show. A lot of people are saying they like it. A lot of people are saying they hate it. I will say that I don't know if I'm just getting older, but I have some Kendrick Lamar songs on my phone, but it was one of those things that it took me legit minute to 2 minutes where I didn't know if he was speaking English. And I'm not trying to be rude or mean. I was literally just listening. I go, is this in English? What's happening here? Because I couldn't understand it because he was mumbling. And then it was just, to me, it was not a very entertaining show. And then this is where people are going to start arguing because I've seen several posts, okay? Gru says, yes, Black National Anthem causes a big divide. I mean, it literally does. I mean, it obviously does. But then I see people today, not just today, on Monday, giving like a 40-paragraph diatribe of here's what Kendrick Lamar was really trying to say throughout the performance. Here's my thing. You ever heard of the phrase KISS, keep it simple, stupid? If you've got to explain what something means in 40 paragraphs and you can't do it in one, that's where the problem lies. That's why I always say when I'm coaching guys with football, if I can't explain it to you like you're a third grader, then I shouldn't be coaching it. The easier it is to understand, the easier it is to teach. The easier it is to teach, the easier it is to understand. And if you need 55 paragraphs to explain to me what all the symbolic stuff was going on in that show, who the hell do you think is going to get it? Stephen Hawking? Thomas Sowell? I just don't understand. Like if your average audience is just say, ooga booga, caveman guy watching on TV, just looks like me, just a caveman watching, why would you make it so tricky? So everyone's got to have their decoder ring and try to figure out what the hell's happening. I don't get it. I didn't like it. Some people were saying it's great. Everyone that I was with, and it was pretty diverse, was just we were like, just kind of looking around like, what's happening here? I mean, do what you got to do. But the only part I kind of liked about it, I liked the clown car at the front. At the beginning, I thought that was kind of cool. And like 75 people came out through the car. The commercials were decent, but the only thing I'm going to say is the one commercial that I just flat out did not like was the Snoop Dogg Tom Brady commercial, because I thought it was dripping with a little bit of hypocrisy on it. For those that don't know, this is basically a stop hate campaign, and every commercial in the world now has to have Snoop Dogg. He's got to have the best publicist in the history of man and agent, because this guy's literally on every single commercial, every single show. I don't know what's happening. But Jenna, do you have the Tom Brady commercial?
From different neighborhoods.
I hate you because you look different.
I hate you because I don't understand you.
I hate you because people I know hate you.
I hate you because I think you hate me.
Because I need someone to blame.
Because you talk different.
Because you act different.
Because you're just different. Man, I hate that things are so bad that we have to do a commercial about it.
Me too.
Okay, so I guess, like they're yelling at each other because one's black, one's white. We get it. They're both very high profile people. And it's one of those, I hate this, stop this. I can't believe we have to do a commercial on hate. We need to stop the hate. We need to stop the hate. If I'm not mistaken, Jenna, do you have a video of Snoop Dogg, not maybe 4 or 5 years ago, music video? Now, call me crazy, but wouldn't that show just a tad bit of hate? Am I wrong? I mean, because obviously that's supposed to be Trump. He's got an orange face. He's got the long red tie. Obviously, he's got the bouffant hairdo. And then Snoop Dogg grabs a gun and goes over and shoots at that time, President of the United States. Is that peace, love, and gentleness, or is that hate? I'm not the smartest man, but I'm smart enough to understand that maybe Snoop Dogg shouldn't be kind of getting on his golden throne and telling me about hate when that video was just made 5 years ago. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not. So we'll move on from there. All right. There are winners and losers in life. Jenna, bring on the great Nick Umble.
What's up, man?
Nick Umble, former Green Beret, former long snapper, power lifter, knows a lot about a lot. He's not a little about a lot. He knows a lot about a lot. He's also one of the greatest follows on X, formerly known as Twitter. Just his comments and replies are absolutely gorgeous. Umble, I just want to bounce around with you. We're going to talk about Elon and Doge and all that stuff, but we're going to talk right about the government, okay, and what's going on right now. And I want you to talk to me after we watch this press secretary video. Jenna, do you have the press secretary video?
Huge week here at the White House, and let's go over the wins President Trump delivered on behalf of you, the American people. On immigration, illegal migrant encounters between the ports of entry are down nearly 87%. On the economy, President Trump laid out a plan to establish a sovereign wealth fund to better invest the more than $5 trillion in assets held by the United States. He also proposed tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico and China, and those tariffs were swiftly paused after our allies agreed to step up and address these issues. We are streamlining USAID into the State Department. President Trump signed a historic executive order to ban men and women's sports. Lastly, President Trump is already making our military strong again. Army recruitment in the month of December, with the anticipation of President Trump's return to the Oval Office, hit a 15-year high. We'll see you for next week's MAGA Minute.
Okay, so let's start at the end of that. December, when everyone knows Donald Trump won in November, Army and military enlistment rates boomed. What does that tell you, Umble, being that you're former military?
Well, I just think they see a change in regime and who you want to work for and what it's coming for, right? I mean, the Army has gotten woke. I retired in 16, so I kind of retired on the beginning end of all this craziness that went on. So like there was one training I may have went through and then it was kind of like laughed off and just, hey man, we're not going to deal with this for years down the road. And most of us in that room were going to be retired by that time that happened. But I think it's a testament, man. I mean, we spent the last 4 years talking about, hey, and this is my thing. The narrative has been over the last 4 years, if not more, the population's fat, the population's out of shape, the population is drugged, the population has mental health issues. We're never going to make recruitment again. All of a sudden, we hit recruitment numbers. And the next month, we hit recruitment numbers. And now we're into the third month. And I have no reason to believe that we're not going to hit recruitment numbers again. And that's the first time it's happened in, I think it's been 6 years since that's happened.
Well, yeah. And I mean, that's obviously a very, very, very good thing. And I think it's going back to common sense. And one of the big arguments that I'm seeing, because I have friends on both sides and I love to see the people that are excited. And I love to see people that are not excited because I want to hear both sides. I want to hear exactly what their argument is. And so like one of the big things that he signed in executive orders was that boys and girls are separated in college sports and high school sports. Like this to me is a no-brainer. Like this is one where you have daughters, you understand, like you would not want Nick Umble or Chris Rubio participating in the same sport as them. Number one, uncomfortable in the locker room, not fair to anyone. Number two, not fair. Okay. It's just not fair. Am I wrong here?
No, I mean, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for this, but I say it's LARPing, man. You're doing live action role play, bro. Like, you're doing it to get clicks, you're doing it to get likes, like, and whatever, man. Do whatever you want on your own time, but I don't want to deal with it, and I don't want my kid dealing with it.
Yeah. So, because what's the point of having two sports then? Like, I don't understand. What's the point of having guys and girls sports if they can just both do everything? It just does. It's one of those things that it doesn't make sense. And I think this is a hill that a lot of people want to die on, but it's to me, it's just ignorant. Like I saw a person who is an educator who's said studies show that there's no difference in the strength of sexes.
Okay,
Like,
let's break that down. Let's break that down. How many transgenders that are transitioning from women to men are trying to play football and basketball?
Yeah, exactly.
None. Zero. Why? Because it's a far superior.
Well, you do strong man competitions. I'm assuming they have strong woman competitions.
They do.
Okay. Are the weights and sizes comparable?
Oh, yeah. They're scaled though. They're scaled by
what I'm saying is
weight. But so there's two federations in strongman. There's USA Strongman, and then there's in the US, and then there's Strongman Incorporated. And Strongman Incorporated, for those that follow the sport, go into they are in conglomerate with Giants Live, World's Strongest Man, the Arnolds. So when you get an Arnold's bid, it's from Strongman Incorporated. But there is a deal in there, man. It's written plain as day. Like, you have got to be tested for testosterone. You cannot be. I mean, there's a whole slew of rules that, and the weights are too heavy. I'm telling you right now, like, the weights are way too heavy. Like, no woman is coming over and doing weights in men. Like, the heaviest pro women are not, well, pro women's a little much. There are no amateur super heavyweight women that are competing with middleweight men. It's not happening.
And that's not a sexist thing. That's just a common sense third grade science thing.
100%.
Okay, so that's that. 87% of border crossings have dropped. So we've dropped them 87%. So which I don't understand is, if we could have done this before, why couldn't we have done it then? Like, if we can go right now and we can close the border, then there's no other answer than the border was left open on purpose. I mean, right? I'm trying to look at this like a third grader.
No, I'm doing the same thing when I see this stuff. Everything the old man has done, I'm like, what? And I hear Hakeem Jeffries, man. Oh my God, the guy is insufferable. And he's like, oh, this has gone on, or this has happened here. And I'm like, bro, what is wrong with you? Like, prices of food are skyrocketing. Bitch, they've been skyrocketing for 4 years. Why didn't you do anything about it? Now all of a sudden Trump gets in, and 2 weeks down the road, you're like, why hasn't he done anything? Why didn't you do anything the past 1,000 days that you had full control of the government?
Yeah, that's so, and I'm trying to be lenient and kind of just smile and look at it, but it's one of those things that I'm looking at common sense things, and I just don't get it. Like, if we knew, like, now you have all these ICE raids where they're going to all these places that have the illegals. If we've known where they are, why are we not getting them out before? Like, so this is, you can't even lie.
Well, You're answering your own question when it comes to
you.
But
I'm trying to see, like, what am I missing, or is it that obvious?
Well, I didn't know it was this bad, right? No one knew it was bad. Like, why is this happening? Well, we know why it's happening, because USAID was funding all of these NGOs. Okay,
before we get into USAID, okay, we heard the press secretary. We just found out literally yesterday that FEMA, okay, this is, going to help people in natural disasters and things like that throughout the country. FEMA just last week spent $59 million on luxury hotels in New York City for illegal immigrants. This was last week. Okay. DOJ, the Department of Government Efficiency, just found out about it and said, what? And that lady was fired today because she went above and beyond. She was told not to do any of this, and she still did it. But here's the weird thing, Umble. I don't remember if you remember in October what we were told. Jenna, do you have that FEMA video for me?
Disaster relief, this is a falsehood. Disaster relief funds used on immigrants illegally in the U.S. The fact is, no money is being diverted from response needs. That's the fact.
Okay, number one, she's dressed like a cartoon gangster from Looney Tunes. Number two, like, literally you said it wasn't, but now it's proved that it was.
But do you understand? Okay, so I have this argument in a post-grad cert that I'm taking right now. So FEMA, when it was formed in 1979 underneath the Carter administration, had its own secretary. There was a secretary of FEMA. He had its cabinet. It was a cabinet member, it was an elected cabinet member, like the DNI, the director of the FBI, blah, 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 HHS, all that stuff. Then Bush in 2005 passed Homeland Security Act, which lumped 22 different organizations and agencies to include FEMA under DHS. The problem with DHS is that DHS now has that entire funding line, right? The entire funding line coming from FEMA is now up under DHS. So when they say, oh, we're not diverting it, well, really, they're not, because DHS owns FEMA. So they're using a play on words to tell you we're not taking it from emergency management funds, but that's because DHS owns that budget. So in to do a play on words, you can say we're not taking it from emergency management because technically emergency management is given that money by DHS, right?
Department of Homeland Security.
Correct.
But you have to know what you're doing. And if I
they 100% know what they're doing, but if you use the play on words, it makes you look like you're trying. Everyone knows that those funds are being pulled out of FEMA and used in every other category to fix whatever they're trying to fix.
Yeah, and I just had someone on social media just tell me, just literally, I think about 45 minutes ago, they were talking to someone in North Carolina who's still waiting for their $750. So someone who is affected still doesn't have $750, and where these hotel rooms were up to $700 a night for the illegals. So if I'm in North Carolina, Hawaii, or Pacific Palisades in California, I'm losing my mind. I'm saying, are you kidding? Like, what if I was an illegal, I'd actually get more.
Yeah, dude, I can't. That I think it's John Kennedy, right? The senator from Louisiana. Is that his first name? Kennedy. His first name is John. He said it best the other night. I don't know if you watched that speech, but he gave a speech that said that right now, Medicaid or Medicare, one or the other, has 6.5 million Americans over the age of 112 on their books. Yeah. And there's less than 35,000 people over 100 years old in the entire United States.
Yeah, well, you're bringing it up. You're lobbing it up for me, Umble, because now we're going to lean right now into Elon and Doge, and this is the hot topic on both sides because they're losing their mind. Now, for those that weren't watching this last, Elon Musk, everyone knows who he is. I think he's literally the richest man in the world right now. Super genius. He's got all these companies. Blah blah. We got it. He's per Trump, and everyone says, well, you didn't vote for Elon. We literally did, because everyone saw he was campaigning with him nonstop. And El Trumpo said, when I'm in there, Elon's coming in with a wood chipper, and he's going off on everything. And so he comes up with Doge, D-O-G-E, Department of Government Efficiency, and I think he's got more now. El Trumpo just allowed him to hire more, but he started off with 5 super nerd genius kids that are on the spectrum of autism or something like that, where they can just lock in. They've created these computer programs, and it goes into the read-only part of the Treasury. They're not allowed to just pay themselves or do anything like that. And they're typing in DEI, Istanbul funds, and okay, you're funding DEI training for lesbian chameleons in Serbia. And so they just start going boom, 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 boom. And one of the main guys got doxed last week. This is great because I think this was the 19-year-old. And this shows you how the media is working now and not working at all, where I think we're at the point now, Umble, where no one cares, because this guy's name is Big Balls. That's what he goes by, is Big Balls. That's not on his birth certificate, but he's a gamer. He does all that. And Umble, you play video games a lot, and everyone says, like you have your little handle on your video games, and everyone's like, oh my God, they pulled up some stuff that he said back when he was like 14 or 15. And now at this point, no one cares. Like, if you're on the middle to the right, I don't care what he said. It doesn't bother me anymore. I just want things to get done. And if anyone's been in I don't even what you call them, a chat room playing video games, if I'm playing Umble, he's saying things to me that my mom's ears would burn. And same on the reverse. That's just the way dudes are. And this is a 19-year-old dude. And so, Jenna, can you play how they're trolling them now? Because now the media is forced to talk about Big Balls.
As we begin tonight with Musk and Big Balls.
Big balls.
Big balls.
Big Balls, who work for Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, Doge.
In the one case of the Big Balls kid, a literal teenager.
Big Balls online, Big Balls here that Katie's talking about.
A 19-year-old that goes by the username Big Balls.
So that would be one way that we could refer to him.
Young computer whizzes, the aforementioned Big Balls.
Because who among us doesn't feel better about big balls in charge of American air traffic control?
I think it's just absolutely hilarious that you've got mainstream media talking about big balls, and they don't understand that no one cares. Like anyone in the middle to the right doesn't care, and so now Elon, who's the king of trolling besides maybe El Trumpo, he switched his name on X to Hairy Balls. So Jenna, play that video.
Chief Elon Musk, who apparently has adopted the alias, at least he changed his social media handle to Hairy Balls, tweeted this morning, "Democracy in America."
It's just hilarious that you're just lobbing it up for them and they're taking the bait. Umble, does this show how just out of touch the media truly is?
Oh man, it's not just the media, dude. You have like DC is exploding right now. For those of you who don't, I live 55 miles from the White House lawn. And DC is like imploding right now. The old man's traveling at a speed of light that no one can. By the time they're outraged at X, shit, man, he's 3 moves down the road and they can't catch him.
100%. And Elon and Doge continue to let their programs, so they're just these little programs, these little algorithms that go in and they're doing all the work for them. They're just finding it over and over and over and over. Doge has found out how US aid was funding the press. So I think they gave Politico $8 million. They just happened to subscribe for like $10,000 subscriptions. And then they were funding Breitbart, AP, all these. And so this is the way the media works for those that don't know. So say Umble works at Politico. Okay, I give Umble $7 million and I say, write some articles where saying Rubio is the best, Jenna is the worst. And then he does that. And then I also fund, let's say, MSNBC. So what happens is I tell MSNBC, I want an article about Rubio is the best, Jenna's the worst. And they'll say, well, we don't have any facts. And I say, oh no, Nick Umble, Politico just wrote an article about it. Pull that up and use that as reference. And so that's how the whole spin goes, where everyone is just scratching each other's back. John Bergeron says Defense Department is next. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, we've gone, I was watching.
Dude, I don't know if you remember this, but on 9/10/2001, the day before 9/11, Donald Rumsfeld, the Secretary of Defense, and for anyone that's listening that remembers this, like chime in, the dude had to do a press conference where they were missing like $2.3 trillion.
Yeah.
Dude, DOD. Yeah. Oh, is it 1 trillion?
Yeah, $1 trillion.
$1 trillion. Like, just, this is my thing. Can you imagine the amount of money they found in USAID and the amount of, if there are really 6.5 million over the age of 112 years old that are on Medicare or Medicaid or on Social Security, and we find $1 trillion worth of stuff in the government, hey, bro, I'm not asking for a whole lot of money, but you can cut me a $250,000 check for every ounce of tax I have ever paid in this fucking country since that.
Well, that's the point, is that so many people are looking at it and going, why am I paying taxes if this is what's happening? Okay, so now before we get to that though, because I'm on social media like you, so I'm getting all the insight. You know, it's 10 times faster than MSNBC and CNN, and I'm watching those as well. So for those that are like, no, 9/10 they lost the money and couldn't answer questions. 9/11 happened. That's a hell of a coincidence, Bergeron. Just a hell of a coincidence. For a lot of people that probably don't know that, but just wow, that's a weird coincidence. And I watch all these, and I'm telling you, the only thing they say about US aid they don't say anything about all the money that's going missing. All they say is, oh my gosh, you've got these 19 through 26-year-old kids going in the back end. God knows what they're doing. You got Elon Musk. He's not elected, blah, blah, blah. And they don't mention one thing about the misappropriation of funds. Today in my local paper was the first day they said, so far Elon has found 11 billion in mistakes. I was like, 11 billion? They found that the first hour. And I just don't understand it. Joe Rogan has a great 1-minute segment. Jenna, can you play this Joe Rogan video? Then we'll talk about it for a little bit.
That's fucking amazing. And then this other thing about Elon. Elon's going to steal everybody's money. He has $400 billion. I'm telling you, he's not going to steal your money. I'm telling you, that's not what he's doing. What he's doing is he's a super genius that's been fucked with. Okay? And when you've been fucked with by these nitwits that hide behind 3-letter agencies, and you're dealing with one of the smartest people alive, and he helps Donald Trump get into office, and he goes, I want to find out what kind of corruption is really around. Well, you fucked up. You fucked up and picked the wrong psychopath on the spectrum, because he's gonna hunt you down. He's gonna find out what's going on, and that's good. That's good for everybody. That's how you should be looking at this. Like, wow, we have a brilliant mind that is examining these really fucking corrupt and goofy systems, and bringing in a bunch of psychopath wizards.
Psychopath Wizards. Great name for a band, called it. Let the party begin on the Epstein list. Yeah, they're saying that Kash Patel, the first hour he gets in there, he's dropping that. And I that's the one I think they're going to have a tough time. But they've also got.
Did you see the news tonight?
Yeah.
So I just read 15 minutes ago. Mullins, the guy, I think he's from Texas, man, but he might be from Wyoming. But Mullins is on. He breaks down everything that's going on in Congress. Great dude, man. He was the guy that when Pete Hegseth had his confirmation hearing, he said something to the effect of like, "Hey, I was looking up what the qualifications to be a senator are. Oh, it's age. That's it. Like you're saying, this guy has no qualifications, but what qualifications do you guys bring to this?" Okay, so Tulsi's vote tonight for the DNI is postponed because it's snowing like a madman right now in DC. Like we're getting pounded right now.
Okay. And Michelle just said he's from Oklahoma and a badass.
So then I believe that the minute they vote on her, they open up what they call, it's not, I don't remember the name, I'll call it a quorum. They're going to open up a quorum for 30 hours for her. So, but he just put out that they have secured all the votes for all three, him, her, Kennedy, and Kash Patel.
I hope you're right, because to me, this is, and everyone keeps saying, is this what you voted for? Yes.
Even if okay, so let's say I didn't necessarily vote for Trump. You know what I did vote for? Robert Kennedy to turn HHS upside down, Kash Patel to get rid of what's going on in the FBI. I voted for Tulsi Gabbard to be the DNI and look at all of this stuff that has to go on with FISA and how these courts don't hold people accountable for things that I consider unconstitutional.
Okay, so now here's the argument, though, that I want to bring up, because I follow a lot of people on the left, follow a lot of people on the right, follow a lot of people in the middle, and a lot of people on the left. Their argument against what you just said is there's going to be a lot of people that lose their jobs. Okay, a lot of Americans that lose their jobs. So, like, no, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing it all over the place. So a lot of FBI agents are going to lose their job. How do you feel about that?
Welcome to the real. Okay, so a common friend of ours posted the other day, you work for the government for a security of job. You work for the private sector to make money. Why should the public sector, right? Meaning the government, why should you have security in your job because you work for the government?
Yeah,
Let's break that down. What military commander can serve in a command over 2 years? Hold on, I'll answer that real quick. Absolutely zero. Every 2 years, every commander in the entire United States military is done. There's a change of command. Trust me, I spent a lot of times standing in fucking formation for change of commands. There's a reason we do that. Because those commanders cycle out A for promotion, B for agency, so they cannot continue to end up in that sector because it becomes redundant and guys end up corrupt and doing stuff they normally wouldn't do. So now if you work for the government, you should be safe and there's no reason you should be fired and you should have all these protections. No. Why are you not treated like anyone else that's out there in the regular workforce?
I agree with you 1,000%.
And working for.
Well, and the thing is, okay, Jenna just found an email question. Rubio, what are your thoughts on the 25% tariffs Trump put on Canada for steel and aluminum imports? I'm okay with it because I'm in America, and I know the American companies that do steel and aluminum are pumped. I think we talked about it last week, Jenna. Was it 85% of your products come through America? So I can't imagine this is going to be much of an issue for Americans. And at this point, I'm pretty sure that if things go up in price, I don't care. And it's not that I'm uber wealthy. It's just that I like the direction that everything's happening right now. And if it causes a couple eggs to get broken to make the omelet, that's my thought. Umble?
Has gas come down where you're at?
Is what?
Has gas come down where you're at?
I never drive, so I haven't even got gas in about a month.
Gas is down 25 cents where we're at.
Okay. So, yeah.
And people keep talking about fucking $15 dozen eggs. Like, I pay like $4.50. My gas is under $3. It's like $2 something now, and it's
never $3. I think mine's at $3 right now. But so we're talking about all these things that USAID, and a lot of people don't know. But if you got to follow Doge, DOGE, on social media. Department of Education terminated 89 contracts worth $881 million. That's just the Department of Education, which is going to get blown up anyway. Department of Agriculture. Oh, we're going to talk about that right now, Bergeron. Actually, we'll just jump to that right now. The latest thing Elon just announced literally 2 hours ago, put that back up for me, Jenna, is that he's saying, I don't understand. He was in the White House, in the Oval Office with his kid, little X, just hanging on him. And he goes, I don't understand. Next thing we're going to investigate is if someone makes $180,000 a year, which is good money, but their net worth is like Nancy Pelosi's annual salary is 223, but she's worth $202 million. How? And I just saw a whole bunch of other ones. Mitch McConnell, annual salary is 200. His net worth is 95 million.
Do you know about Mitch McConnell?
Yeah, how he's a functioning vegetable right now?
Oh, no. So he's married. His wife, I believe, is a U.S. citizen now, but she was a Chinese national. And most of their companies are in China.
Yeah. You got Chuck Schumer, annual salary $210,000, net worth $75 million. Elizabeth Warren, salary is $285, net worth $67 million. Like, why would you not want to know that? I don't understand, Umble. This is like one of those third grade things to me. I don't understand. Like, if I'm paying my employees because they work for me, I pay my taxes. That's their salaries essentially, right? If I'm paying them, and I see my employees working for me at Pizza Hut, and all of a sudden they're coming around in a Mercedes every single day, and I'm like, I'm paying this guy $14 an hour. How does he have a $400,000 car? I would want to know questions like, is he robbing me? Does he have a keys to the safe? Is he running drugs out of the back of my Pizza Hut? What's going on? But we're not allowed to ask that. So am I losing my mind? Am I losing my mind here, Umble? I don't know. And then Mitch McConnell's a Chinese spy. So here's another one. Department of Agriculture terminated 18 contracts worth $9 million. Central American Gender Assessment Consultant Services. That was a real thing that they were giving money to. Brazil Forest and Gender Consultant Services. It's almost like they just tried to throw words together to confuse you because it doesn't even make sense. Women in Forest Carbon Initiative Mentorship Program. What? Asia Pacific Sri Lanka Climate Change Mitigation, Adaptation, and Resilience Coordinator Services for Forest Service. Workshop for Intercultural Communication Diversity Dialogue Circle Communicating Across Differences. What does that even mean? What does any of that mean?
It means that we're funneling money. That's what it means.
Okay. Can you explain how we're funneling money for those that weren't watching the show last week that maybe don't understand? Like, what do you mean that you're funneling money, Umble? I don't understand. Please explain it to me like I'm a third grader.
So a lot of those. So you heard today how HHS had a bunch of contracts for like overhead. Their contracts were so say the contract's worth $1 million. Then they would say it's worth $1.6 million, and $600,000 of that $600,000 was considered overhead for like books, pens, things like that, like expendables. And what they're really doing is when they fund those contracts, those are whining and dining things. They're paying off other politicians. Like, dude, the CIA has a ton of stuff to do with USAID.
Oh yeah,
and then it goes in a circle. I'm not exactly sure how that circle works, but that money goes in a circle. Like, you pay an NGO and that NGO gives kickbacks, and those kickbacks end up going to fund like Act Blue, which is like the Democratic Party.
Explain what an NGO is for people that don't know.
A non-government organization. It's supposed to be a non-profit.
And so the worst part about these is so many of these. So I set up this NGO to save the transgender chameleon spider in Africa. I need $40 million. Umble gives me $40 million. There's no receipts. Like, that's the thing. Like, they were just doing it, and no one had to ever show that I did a study on transgender chameleon lizards in Brazil or wherever I was. Okay, and that's even the more thing is just like everyone just had the golden ticket. And there was nothing going on about it. And did you see what Elon just said about how to fire people in the government, how hard it is?
Oh, I know how hard it is. So for those of you that don't know, once you have say I get a government job, and once I'm considered under probation for a year. So after the first year, I can be fired at any time in the first 365 days. At year 3, you get some sort of protection. It's not quite a tenure, but it becomes very difficult to fire you. At 5 years, you're tenured. Like, you are considered a tenured government employee.
Yeah, and then you have to like kick a puppy on national TV to get fired.
Yeah, pretty much. Or do some crazy shit and Trump fires your ass.
Well, they were just showing how he just came out with it literally 3 hours ago, how to fire someone, all of the paperwork, it's in this Colorado mine that's like 287 feet below, and it's all on paper. And the process is so slow that they can only do 10,000 per month if needed. Because they have to literally, they're showing like you have to wait for this elevator. And one day the elevator broke, so they just stopped for like 2 weeks until the elevator was fixed. And it's like you're looking going, this can't be real. There's no way we're waiting on archaic, since it was built in like the 50s, we can't just click, you're fired. Like it's insane. You look it up when you're doing it.
It's hard. And there's unions. There's unions. So the GS service goes from like 1 to 15, and they're based off of, they have an equivalent of a military rank. And then SESs are kind of like, and I don't ask me what that stands for. I don't remember what it is. Selective Executive
Services?
No, I don't remember what it is. But the SES is considered like the general officer level. So you have SES 1 through 4, 1 through 4-star generals, right? That's how it works. So
Jenna said she pays $8 an eggs.
How crazy is that, dude? I pay that for like 30 eggs.
Jenna, we got to get you out of Canada. We got to get you out.
But for the tariffs, the lady was talking about the tariffs. Like, I'm a huge fan of tariffs. I think tariffs are great. I think that Trump uses tariffs effectively. He brought all that, for what people don't understand, 8 years ago, he brought all that steel here. And then the minute he got out of office, like, they've chipped away. So they brought in, I believe they said yesterday, Trump said yesterday, brought in 175,000 jobs into the steel and aluminum workers. And then over the course of the Biden administration, they cut 120,000 of those. So my neighbor, he's a general contractor. He was telling me a couple of weeks ago that we take raw steel in blocks or bricks, we put it on a ship, send it to China. China stamps it and sends it back to us.
That seems efficient.
Why aren't we just stamping it here?
Yeah. That's another one where I wish I had hair so I could pull it out. Jenna, by the way, is looking for a job in the United States if anyone wants to hire someone who's very feisty and capable. Umble, we're moving on. Jenna, there's no need to talk you up. You're fantastic. Everyone knows that. If anyone, seriously, Jenna is actually looking for a job in America. Working hard is not enough. Umble, the hate of El Trumpo is off the charts. And I get there's major TDS. I understand. And a lot of people need to understand that no one likes every single thing about him. He's very rough around the edges. I get it 100%. I'm the exact same way, so it doesn't bother me too much. I know he's kind of a jackass in certain things, and it just makes me laugh because I'm kind of a jackass in certain things. Umble, you're kind of a jackass in certain things, so it makes you laugh. And you are like me, where it's just bottom line, guys, bottom line. I just want the bottom line, especially the way it's been ran the last 4 years, where I knew Joey B would be bad. I didn't know he'd be that bad. And I knew El Trumpo would be good. I mean, we're still just 3 weeks in. I didn't know he'd be this good. But like, there's certain things that he's doing that I don't understand, where when someone argues it, I know that they are just arguing to argue. So for instance, he just did an executive order banning paper straws. No one dislikes that. Like, you can't honestly say, give me the toilet paper roll. I'd rather drink out of the toilet paper roll. They're disgusting. They dissolve within 5 minutes. It tastes like ass. I mean, it literally tastes like a toilet paper roll. Umble, do you hate paper straws?
So you ever watch the podcast Redacted?
No.
It's awesome podcast. You get a chance to watch it. It can be dry. Those dudes go down some rabbit holes, man. But it's I believe it's a couple.
Okay.
So anyway, she brought up 3 or 4 studies. So actually, paper straws are worse for the environment than plastic straws. They have, I believe, 23 forever chemicals in them.
Oh,
so
that's
every
awesome.
time you slurp off that fucking straw, dude, you're sucking down some forever chemicals.
That's
the minute liquid touches it.
Okay, so like banning paper straws. Who doesn't like that? The next one, El Trumpo, and I hate to give Canada some credit, but they're ahead of the game on this one. El Trumpo says he's going to stop production of the penny. He says it basically costs like 4 cents to make them. No one cares about the penny. And Canada did this, I think Jenna said like 15 years ago, and you just round up or round down. Like this is a no-brainer. Am I wrong on that one, Umble?
But do you know what the argument is? Do you know what the argument is on the left, though?
What?
Oh, well, if it's 40, if it's, what was if it's 946, they're going to round it up to 950.
Okay.
Well, where have you been the last 4 years? Inflation is through the fucking roof, and you're worried about 4 cents?
Well, yeah. And how many times, when was the last time you got a penny and it's like, give a penny, have a penny, save a penny, or live, whatever the hell the little phrase is, and you just drop the pennies in that little stupid jar?
Bro, when's the last time you paid with cash?
Oh, I paid with cash. I do. But it's one of those things where the penny, and Jenna says 2012, Canada stopped pennies. But they don't even call them pennies. Don't you guys call them dubus, or what the hell's it called? Julus? What's their money's called something different. I can't remember. They always tell me and I always forget. Today, too. Loonies and toonies. That's what I meant. Yeah, well, isn't that pennies? What the hell's a loonie? What's a toonie? How much are those worth? I don't know. Okay. Today, a hostage was brought back. It seems like every day a hostage is brought back, and it doesn't even make the news. Today was one from, I want to say, Russia.
Is that that former Marine?
I don't know who it was, but I just know, like, and it doesn't even make mainstream media, where it's like, okay, we have a guy who comes in, he's on a private plane, and El Trumpo got him out again. And the one that I like is how he's a full-on dictator. And I'm just feeding off myself off what I see. And he's the first dictator I've ever seen that wants less government power. He wants less the government to happen. And he's an absolute Nazi, yet Israel loves him. And so that's kind of confusing to me. The Jews love him. And so this is a great post that I saw. And we're going to break this down line by line, because when this person posted this is someone I know who's on far left. And good friend of mine, but I thought it was a joke, because I know who this person is and I know that they're very left. And Jenna, do you have this, the comparison photo? And can you leave it up, or with us both talking, or can you put it to the side, or I don't know how you do that, Jenna? Okay. Jenna, can you still hear me? Hopefully. For those that are listening, we'll break it down. It says it didn't start with gas chambers. It started with one party controlling the media, one party controlling the message, one party deciding what is truth, one party censoring speech and controlling the opposition, one party dividing citizens into us versus them and calling on their supporters to harass them. It started when good people turned a blind eye and let it happen. And then there's the Nazi flags underneath. So Jenna, can you go back to us? Because I want to break this down. When I saw this, I legit thought it was a joke. Because let's just break it down, Umble. It started with one party controlling the media. Umble, which party has been controlling the media for about the past 15, 20 years?
It ain't the right.
Okay, so it's clearly the left. Okay, it's clearly the left, as was just proven 25 minutes ago when we talked about USAID giving money to Politico, Breitbart, AP, so they can control the media direction. It's very well documented. Okay, it started with one party controlling the media. You got that. One party controlling the message. That's got to be a joke, because the message was very, very clear from day one. Masks are bad. Let's just go COVID. Masks are bad. Then all of a sudden Fauci said, no, masks are good. Double masking's better. Triple's even better. You went from when Trump was in office, the vaccine's terrible. Kamala even said, there's zero chance I'm taking that. I don't trust El Trumpo. And then as soon as he's out of office, it's Joey B's vaccine, and it's fantastic. So that's a little confusing. Hunter Biden, you weren't allowed to talk about him on YouTube. I've been flagged several times for talking about the vaccines. I'm not saying good or bad, YouTube, so don't ban me today. One party controlling the message. So you were clearly controlling the message. Okay. If you want to go on Twitter right now or any Facebook and just type in constitutional crisis. Okay. Constitutional crisis. Watch how many in the media said constitutional crisis today, because that's their new buzzword. It just goes around, they get their talking points, and then they go. Then the next one, which party deciding what is truth? This is where I really thought it was a joke, because Umble, haven't we been taught the last 3 years that up is down and down is right and black is white and boys are girls and girls are boys? So like you could identify, right now Umble can identify as a 6'4", 310-pound blonde lady and play volleyball because he identifies as that. So one party controls deciding what is truth. So that's literally is the falsest information I've ever heard. One party censoring speech and controlling the opposition. I just talked about that, how on X before Elon bought it, you couldn't say certain things even in direct messages. Like literally you couldn't send out the link. I couldn't send to Umble, hey, here, check out this link on Hunter Biden's laptop. It would dissolve it. You couldn't do that. You couldn't do it on YouTube. You couldn't. That's why things like Rumble came around. Okay. One party dividing citizens into us versus them. Is that a joke? Don't you remember? I think it was about a year ago. I think the anniversary was about a year ago yesterday, where when Joey B came up and said it's going to be a long, cold winter of death for those that did not take the vaccine. So if you didn't take the vaccine, experience a long, cold winter of death, and there was going to eliminate you from jobs and all that good stuff. Okay, so, and then how many times, Umble, have you seen someone on the right, including Elon and El Trumpo, and probably yourself as well, called Nazi? So that is calling on their supporters, okay, us versus them, that's signaling them out, and then supporters to harass them. I can pull up literally 100 clips of just Maxine Waters saying she wants to go out and go into the restaurants and blah, 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 and get in their faces and going to harass them. What am I talking about? And then it says, it started when good people turned a blind eye and let it happen. So where was everyone? Did everyone go Ray Charles the last 4 years? Is everyone Stevie Wonder? They couldn't see? Because I'm looking at this and I legit thought this was a joke. Like there's no way they're actually saying this, because there's the hypocrisy of this. It's unbelievable. Am I wrong or am I right?
That whole first off, I'm sick of that whole fucking Nazi narrative. Like, just shut up, dude. Why the fuck are we even talking about this? Just stop. Like, it's played out, dude. It's bullshit. Like, but oh my god, if we keep calling everybody a Nazi, everyone will be a Nazi again. Dude, you guys spent the last 4 years literally trying to lock up everyone.
Yeah.
I have different, I'll say this. I have different opinions on the whole J6 thing, right? But I'll say this. The fucking federal government came after 1,500 people. And if you want to see how bad their lives were, go watch some YouTube videos of those cats. Right, wrong, or indifferent, however you feel about it. If you see what the FBI did to those people and everyone in this country turned a blind eye to it, you want to know why? Because nobody wanted to go through the wrath of the fucking FBI, the ATF, the DEA, and the DOJ. And those are facts. They locked those people up and threw away the key. And I'm telling you, the states are going to start coming after those cats. If any party is talking about locking it up and turning the blind eye, most Republicans turned a blind eye and said, I'm going to leave this alone because it's going to land me somewhere I don't want it to land me.
Well, yeah, it was such a hot topic. Make sure, Umble, after this, send Jenna some video because she says she wants to see him. If she's allowed to, I don't know. Umble, we got one more segment. I'm going to keep you on because I know you get fired up about it. Confidence is the key. Friday, I think it's Friday. Jenna, double check this. Friday is Valentine's Day. It's the day for lovers. I want to give everyone a stern warning because I'm going to tell you my story of Valentine's Day. A couple years back, my wife and I decided we're going to just go to dinner. And I said, okay, we're doing gifts, a money limit, something like that. She goes, no gifts. And I immediately stopped. And I said, no gifts. She says, no gifts. I said, no gifts. And she says, no gifts. And I said, do I need to record this so I have it? She goes, no gifts, Rubio. I said, okay. So we get to dinner. She pulls out a card, gives me the card. I look around. I've got no card. because to me, a card is a gift. So Jenna, Umble, am I wrong? Is anyone else watching? If there are, am I wrong that I should not have gotten a card, or should I have always got a card on Valentine's Day, even though she said no card? Umble?
Oh, bro, you're talking to the wrong dude, man. Like my wife calls it forced love day. She's like, I hate this holiday.
Okay.
And we do absolutely nothing on the 14th of February, dude.
Okay. Jenna just gave me all caps. You always get the gift. So what she said, Jenna, was don't get the gift, but that's just, that's a trap. That's what we're saying. Umble, Umble, let's go back. I know you hate it and you don't have to do it. Godspeed to you and your wife. But should I have got the card, or should I got a gift?
So I take stuff with the words, right? So words, in my opinion, words mean shit. You said don't get it. I'm not getting it. Be careful what you ask for, because you're going to get what you asked for.
Okay. Gru says, smart people like my wife and I celebrate Valentine's Day later. Yeah, going out, eating, doing whatever on Friday night, considering it's a Friday night and it's Valentine's, that is going to be an absolute just nightmare. So in other words, guys, learn to speak the other sex. There's a reason why men are from Mars, women are from Venus. So everyone, every day should be V-Day. Oh, Jesus, Jenna, in my opinion. Okay. Does that go both ways, Jenna? Love. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Jenna's been hacked. She wrote just love 3 times in all caps. Go ahead, Umble. You were going to say something?
No, I was going to go completely off topic on this. I'm going to wait till the end.
You can go off topic.
No, man. I'm going to wait till the end.
You can go. We're at the end.
Okay. So I don't know how many people watch the Super Bowl, but
okay.
3 weeks ago, every time we have a conversation together, I always think about our internet conversation, how you have Starlink and I was using Comcast.
Okay.
So 3 weeks ago, I went in and got T-Mobile 5G internet. That's what I'm on right now. Dude, it's awesome. Like, if my power goes out and I turn on my generator on, because I have a small generator to run like a couple things in my house, I can go plug my 5G internet in. And as long as there's still a 5G signal, I have internet in my house. Like, there's no cord, there's no coax, there's no nothing. Just like you. If you plug it, if you continue to keep power to Starlink, it works no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
So when I went and did that 3 weeks ago, I got told, hey, man, T-Mobile has a contract with Starlink. So I signed up. I went today and changed. I've been with Verizon for 20 years because Verizon's been able to do austere locations and get text messages that other services can't. Well, if you didn't see the Super Bowl ad and you don't know, T-Mobile signed a massive contract with Starlink to put 350 satellites worldwide so that they can do, and they're going to start with text messages and calling, and you will be able to do it as long as you have the ability to look at the sky, just walk outside. You can make a call from anywhere in the world at any point in the middle of Moab Desert in fucking Utah, bro.
That's impressive. I like that because where I live, I'm in the middle of nowhere a lot, and I don't get service. Where I'm in the middle, I'm talking literally, there's no cars within 30 miles. So that's impressive.
Yeah. So T-Mobile, they announced it. It's good. So I signed up for the beta today. So if you have a T-Mobile phone or you want to go change it, I changed all my from Verizon to T-Mobile. It's significantly cheaper. I'm paying like $100 less than what I was through Verizon, and I'm on the beta test, and the beta test is going to rotate. And so when it rotates to you and where it says T-Mobile or Verizon up in the far left-hand corner of your cell phone, it'll say like T-Mobile / Starlink. That means that you're on the beta test. And in July, it's going to run out 100% across all T-Mobile networks. You will have access to Starlink and to T-Mobile, network.
That's pretty impressive. I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of people know. Umble, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to see you in probably 15 minutes if you can for Decades. We got Decades coming up at 6:30 p.m. It's a fiery show. Well, you can come on for like 5-10 minutes. Okay. And we can follow Nick Umble at Sentinel Strength on social media. Trust me, he's one of the best follows on X. I can't think
Decades, man.
You can do it.
I not make Decades, bro.
You got 15 minutes of relaxation. It's 9 o'clock.
All right, brother. I'll see you in a little bit. Thanks for having me on, Rubio. Later.
Absolutely. Okay, the final segment is the bottom line for all you new watchers and listeners. The bottom line is just all the stuff that you should have learned without even realizing you learned it. Number one, just because you don't like something doesn't mean you're racist. It just means you don't like it. Okay. If you are racist and you don't like it, well, then you are racist and you don't like it. But just everything that you don't like doesn't mean you're racist. Simple. Number 2, be careful of the nerds in your life. Be careful of the nerds in your life. Okay. The Elon and the Doge community, they're showing exactly what nerds can do right now. And number 3, like I just said, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. The sooner you realize that, the sooner you will understand and hopefully appreciate life a little bit more and know what's going on. For Jenna, don't forget, if you have a job for Jenna in the United States, you can contact Rubio at therubiomethod.com. Love to get her south of the border. I know she's dying to get over here. Everyone that commented on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, will have it on iTunes and Spotify within 24 hours. Don't forget, we got Decades right after this at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube and all those things. And we've got AC Sports Live at 9 o'clock. And then The Ride with Chevy and Nasty at 9:30. Do not forget those. Those will be great. I know AC is going to be pumped as can be because his Eagles won the Super Bowl. And not only won, they beat the hell out of the Chiefs. On that note, next episode is 93. We'll see you next Tuesday. Jenna, I'm out.
Thanks for watching The Rubio Method. Be sure to spread the word, and don't forget to subscribe, like, or follow on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google, Amazon, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook.